Now we're going to talk about holstering your Bokken. To do this, you want to bring the Bokken off to your right side and shake it with just your right hand. So let go with your left hand, bring it off to your right, and shake. That is knocking everything off of your blade. Like you just finished a strike on someone, you're knocking everything off. Now you bring it down to your belt. And when you bring it down to your belt, you want this curved edge, which represents the blade, pointed away from you, and the flat part here towards you. Because with the blade to you, you could cut yourself if this was a real blade, and we don't want that. So, when you bring it down, shake, bring it down to your belt, and then you're going to grab the part of your gi, and you're going to wipe off the blade. Now, when you wipe off your blade, you want your hands flat. You don't want to have it grabbing around the blade, because that'd be cutting your hands. So you want them flat, so you can go around the blade. So it's down here by your belt, and you're wiping off your blade. Once you get to the end, you're going to put the blade in the sheath. So you want the curved part pointed up and the flat part pointed down. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. So you wipe off your blade, bring it up towards your belt, and put it into the holster or the sheath. All right, so a little bit ago I told you why we would have the blade part of your Bokken pointed up while it's in its holster. And this is the reason why, is because it could be a strike coming out of the holster when you draw your Bokken. So when you grab it, you would have your thumb right at the end of the holster, and you'd use it and you'd push out the blade. When you bring it out, you could bring it out and come straight down with the 10 strike. That way the blade, when you bring it out, is already in the proper position to strike someone. Or you could have a sideways strike too, or a 3 strike, where you pop it, bring it out, and sideways. This is the reason why the blade needs to be pointed up. So when you draw your Bokken or your sword, you will automatically be in a fighting position. Now, before we go through the strikes, let me talk about how you need to hold your Bokken. Most of the time, you want to hold, when people come in, they want to grab it like a baseball bat or like they see in a movie, and they have their hands right together like this. That's wrong. You don't want to do that. With a katana or a Bokken in this case, you want a gap between your hands. See that? Got this space right here, because when you do this, you're trying to get motion with it, and having one on the bottom of your Bokken and one on the top of the handle, you have more control. And the reason why I'm saying you get more control with your hands with the space, you want your right hand on top and your left hand towards the bottom with that gap in there, is because when you make your strike, you want to do a push-pull effect. So when you're coming down, you're pushing with the top hand, you want to push forward and pulling back with the bottom one, coming back. So your top hand goes down, the back hand's coming up. So when you do your strike, you're push and pull, but keep your hands on it. You get more power using it this way. You come up, like take the 10 strike. You can come up, and when you come down, stop about parallel to your body, right in front of you, and this is where all the power is generated. Now there are two different types of positions. You have a defensive position and an offensive position. The defensive position is having the blade right out in front of you at a 45. Tip of the blade is pointing at your opponent's head. just like this. That is your defensive position. In order to do your offensive position, you want to raise your blade above your head to show that you're ready to strike and attack. You just come in with whatever strike you want. That's also the reason why, once we do a strike, I'm always rolling right back around to the defensive position.